Hey everyone, welcome to our state tournament primer. It's time. You sat through the preview videos, you sat through all the live streams, you sat through the podcast, you sat through everything we've done. Now it's time. We are literally, in most cases, 3 to 6 matches away from crowning our champions on the girls and boys side. But we got to talk about people who help us be champions, and that's our sponsors. The 3 main ones. Dan Warnikoff, champion athletes. I don't know how much more I have to tell you about him. I've been beating the drum for Dan. I've been doing everything we can do. Dan Warnikoff helps you get better. There's no other way to put it. Consider your body your car. You get it nice and shiny, you work out, you get the muscles. You need the fuel. Like you can throw the nice tires on it, you can throw the decals in James Clarke's case. You put the spoiler on there, whatever you want to do as you're racing through Hackettstown, trying to get away from the cops, like you're the Dukes of Hazzard. But, you want to get the best fuel for your car, and Dan will help you do that. You could be an athlete. You don't have to be an athlete. You're in-state, out-of-state, Dan will help you. Apex Wrestling School, founded by Damian Logan and his college teammate Dane Tabano, one of the fastest-growing schools there is, 4 in New Jersey, 1 in New York. Apex Wrestling School, proud sponsors of what we do here at GSHSW.com, and the Harrington Companies. You have a house. You don't have a house. You want to make something nice? You want to rip it down. The Harrington Companies will help you recycling, demolition, landscaping. Harrington Companies, again, proud sponsors of what we do here at GSHSW.com. Now, let's get to the states. Obviously, let's start with the girls first because their finals will be first. So on Saturday. The way it's going to work is we'll have the schedule up. The girls will have their finals starting at 1 from what I've heard. Might be a little later. Then the boys will have their parade, and their finals should start, from what I've seen, around 4. Once again, these aren't locked in stone. You never know what could happen. Early matches, late matches, but that's kind of the gist we have. But the girls will be the lead we're starting with here. We're going to head to the first weight, 100 pounds. A couple people I'm really, really impressed with, and I would not be shocked to be talking to from our area, is a couple girls you saw at North 2, James, when you were down in Union with the coverage, which if you guys want to watch the finals again, you can go to our YouTube channel. We have the North 1, North 2 girls from Sunday. We have the Region 1, Region 3 boys, and we have District 1, District 6, and District 11. So we have all those up on our YouTube if you want to go back and watch any of the postseason stuff. But a couple girls that really jump out here are 2 that I got to see and 1 that you got to see. The favorite to me has to be Hanover Park's Gabriella Conti. Took North 2, was first, 10-1 on the season, the freshman. I think she's going to meet a really tough opponent in Emily Diaz-Santos, who was 3rd at North 1, but is 30-1 on the season, a fellow freshman. And somebody I really like, and I got a chance to see and kind of came out of nowhere for me, was Olivia McCormick, who finished 2nd at North 1 from Lakeland Regional, who is the 3rd seed. So Conti's the 1 seed, Diaz-Santos is the 4th seed, and McCormick is the 3rd seed. Somebody else I saw that I got a chance to talk to, who we won't really cover but was very impressive, was Francesca Gusva, who from Ridgewood, who is only wrestled 4 matches but 4-0 and 1 North 1. But James, who do you think comes out of here? Who do you like down there?
I really like Gabriella Conte. We saw her earlier in the year wrestling in that quad at Randolph. She wrestled Augie Zamaretta really, really well, and Brody Neal of West Morris. This girl's tough, man. And the way that she wrestled at the North 2 finals there, super impressive. She just breezed through the bracket like it was no tomorrow. She's my pick.
And she's also, just to make it understand where everything is, she was actually going to enter the MCT with the boys, but was sick that week. And I would not put it past her at that weight to have at least gotten on the podium, if not made a run. There's obviously Cameron Sant and some guys like that. But would I have been shocked if she wrestled back and was a medalist there? Not at all. Very solid wrestler. And I agree. Like I said, she's going to have a tough matchup in the semis, it looks like it's going to be, with Diaz-Santos. McCormick and Gustafa should meet in the other semi, the rematch of region, the North 1 final. But yeah, I got to lean towards Conti. Honestly, she's just been on a roll. So yeah, I like her at 100. And I will have, just so everybody knows, I will have all my picks up before we start. I'm going to have them up there. We're obviously going over it now, but I'll have all my picks up there, who I think is going to medal down there. So look for that on the site before we start everything. I'm not going to be one of those places that I wait till like Friday night to post it. That's cheating, people. Hate to break it to you. 107, not really a ton of girls from our coverage area that I think, make a move. Realistically, the only one that we cover finished third at North 1, and that was Madeline Carmichael from Montville, who's 14-4, a sophomore. Everybody else is kind of not in our coverage area. I did get to see Leanna Mercado from Lodi, who's the number 1 seed. I got to see her wrestle up at North 1. And then realistically, the other ones are from down south. So it's a very, excuse me, I missed her name right here. Lily Henderson, who finished second at North 1, is 28-5. She's got a chance. She's going to have a tough draw if she advances to the quarters against Gisanti Malachi from Pennsauken, which that's almost Delaware, people. That's how far south that is. I mean, it's so far south they almost have an accent. Well, they do because they're East Philly, born and raised. But sorry, getting a little on a rant there. But yeah, those are the only two in the area, really. Just kind of looking at it and how I saw her wrestle. I'm going to lead to Mercado here, and I know that's she's the top seed, so it's not really like a guess here. But when you have nobody else and really know, you go with kind of how the voting goes, the chalk,
100%, and I'm going to agree with you on that. And Mercado being a state champion here too, I agree with that 100%.
Let's head to 114. Some really good wrestlers from our area. You have defending champion Paige Weiss, who does all her talking on the mat. 16-0, the sophomore. She won North 1. And then scrolling down through, you got Avery Hines, who finished second at North 2 from Madison. You have Sophia Lentine, who finished third at North 1 from DePaul. And you have somebody we were really impressed with, who she's technically not in our coverage area, but we got a chance to see her at a tournament we did recently. Valerie Maldonado from Somerville, 37-1, has been impressive. I'm actually looking forward, and it's one of the few matches where I'm actually, and I did this for the non-public A championship. I just sat there and watched it as a fan. I really think it's going to be her and Paige Weiss, and I'm really going to enjoy that final.
Absolutely. I mean, I got to see Maldonado from Somerville this weekend, and the way that she wrestled too. Again, just like what we saw with Conte this weekend, breeze through the entire bracket at Region 2, North 2 regionals there. She's really impressive, and I really like the way that she wrestled at the Skylands Conference tournament that we did 2 weeks ago. So would not be surprised. Both of those girls, very impressive wrestlers.
Now heading to 120. Again, a bracket that really doesn't have a lot of our coverage area representation. The only person it has is Sophia Kletchev, who finished second at North 1 for Pequannock. First girl wrestler for Pequannock, so big step for their program. And I know that's going to revitalize and get that program going, because it's always hard to be the first one. And for her to do it, I think she's going to get a lot of girls there. She's going to have a tough matchup in the quarters. She's going to get the 4 seed Lennox Horsborough from Bound Brook, who's a senior, 26-6. I mean, she's got a shot to medal. I'm not going to put it past her, but she's going to have a tough road there. Looking at this weight, I think it's going to be Olivia Palmer from Paulsboro, and I think she's going to greet Riley Lerner from Cedar Creek in the final. And I like I said, I'm gonna defer to the seeding, and I'm gonna go with Palmer from Paulsboro, considering they wrestled each other in the South tournament, and it's and she wound up winning. So it's not really rocket science trying to figure out if they already wrestled each other,
100%. And then just given that tradition that Paulsboro has, like you can never just count them out. So I
Yeah.
definitely am going with Palmer too as the pick here to win at 120.
Now heading to 126, a little more representation for our area. You got defending state, defending state finalist Liliana Zaku Ramos from Newton/Kittatinny, undefeated this year. The senior, she won North 1. She was the OW and was our wrestler of the week. Then you have Carly Poggio. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. From Huntington Central, 5-1. We got to see her. Tough wrestler. When we did the Skylands Conference tournament, I got a chance to see her on the mat a couple times. Tough wrestler. She looked like she was out there, brawling, and she did really well. Finished third at North 2. And then Lenape Valley, we have Ava Hasenitz, who finished second at North 1, a junior. Looking at what we got here, I think it's going to be Zaku Ramos, and give me a little bit of a, not enough huge upset. I think the third seed, Emma Sagi from Old Bridge. I think she's going to be wrestling Zaku Ramos, and I'm going to go with Zaku Ramos in the finals.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you can't go wrong with with Ramos going there from Newton. I mean, this girl has just been absolutely on a tear this year. She's really trying to make a statement for girls wrestling and really has been an inspiration so far that we've seen. And I also like one of the other girls that we saw at North 2 this weekend, Eva Altamirano, Morano from South Plainfield, who won the regions. And South Plainfield, traditionally well known for wrestling, but I like the way that she wrestled against this weekend against Horley from Somerville. I know it's outside of our area coverage, but I really like the way that she's really covered this weekend. Alta Morano, I think, is going to do some damage, but I think with Liliana getting there, I think Liliana still takes it, though.
Eva, we apologize to your parents for the butchering James did of your last name. He cut it up, sliced it up, blended it, and then spit it back out. So we apologize for that butchering.
But she is impressive, though. I was really impressed with the way she wrestled.
And I was very impressed also with a lot of the girls at North 1. It was the gap in talent has closed. There was a huge gap, especially in the early years, of really good, and then people who just made it. It's closing fast. It's becoming huge. Heading to 132, I think the overwhelming favorite is defending champion Kayla Vasquez from Kinnelon. 13-0, got a late start. The senior. I look for her to meet the other representative from our area, Natalie Tucker, who finished third at North 2. I look for her to meet her in the semis, and then I look for Vasquez to wrestle Shea Arts from Buena, who won the South region. And I think Vasquez wins it. I think Vasquez is going to be one of those wrestlers you're looking at in a few years down the line. That's the inspiration for the next generation of girls. And she's going to be the one who's going to be at the forefront, like a Rachel Daddio down in East Brunswick or a Ashley Gocklin up at Vernon. I think Kayla's going to be that next girl to lead the wave of support for girls wrestling.
100%. And I'm going with Vasquez as well to win it all at 132.
Now, heading to 138, the number 1 seed, Ella I'm getting like you here. Ella Palillo from Huntington Central, a freshman, won North 1. She's the number 1 seed. Then you have Riley Canati from North 2, who was third from North Huntington. And then on the bottom, the girl that Ella met in the finals at North 1, Eva Barry from Newton/Kittatinny, 30-3. Looking at how everything breaks, I think we're going to have another rematch here in North 1. And talking to Ella on the chat, the interview afterwards, this would be the 6th time they've met this year. So Ella has the 3-2 advantage. The way they wrestled, it's even. I hate to be the guy to push. It's a coin flip to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer to the person who won last, and I'm going to go with Ella here. But it would not shock me if Eva won.
This will be definitely one of the best state finals that we'll see. And as you said, like those coin flip matches where it could come down to like the end of the match, it's going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to see who comes out on top there at 138.
Now, heading to 145, there's really only two names that we cover, and I think they're meeting in the finals, honestly. It's going to be a rematch to me of the North 1 final. Olivia George is a sophomore from DePaul versus Julia Fungaro, a junior from Boonton. When I tell you, please go back and watch the match. These two were hitting each other with stuff that should have put anybody else away. At one point, Julia took Olivia down, had her hooked, almost had her back for a cradle. Olivia scooted out. Then Olivia came back and got a nice takedown. Then she wound up getting, Julia wound up getting up and getting a nice takedown. Olivia wound up taking her down, and when she did, threw to her back and got the pin. But let me tell you something. That was a great matchup and a great representation of girls wrestling. Once again, like the last match, it's a coin flip. This is going to be one of those old style UFC fights where it's everybody's got a puncher's chance. I'm deferring to what's happened so far with Georges, but like I said, it would not shock me if Fungaro won this.
Not at all. I mean, knowing that name Fungaro, Danny Fungaro, Joey Fungaro, all those traditional Fungaro brothers and sisters from Newton, like she's definitely come from a rich, from Boonton.
You said Newton. I was like, wait a minute, they didn't move on me.
No, I did. I thought I did say Boonton, but
I heard Newton, but maybe my ears are going. I'm an old man. James.
but no, they've been so they put Boonton on the map for the last.
Her brother was a medalist. He's in his senior, so medalist like about 5 years ago. Her brother won a state title last year. 2 years ago. She's medaled before. I mean, that family. I need to know what's in their Wheaties because the wrestling genes run strong in that family. And I just hope if I ever have a kid, they're trained that well, and I'm sure that goes to their training and everything. But some of that is natural ability, and it's ridiculous how good that family is.
100%, and it's hard to pick against a Fungaro. So I'm going with Julie.
And the only reason listen, I understand. I'm not going to fault you if you say you pick Julia Fungaro. I'm not doubting you. I'm just looking at the match, and I look at it, and I'm like, it's. I really like what Julia's done. I really like what Olivia's done. I think they're going to meet in the final. But the only way I can break it is if I say, hey, what happened last time? It would not shock me if I'm talking to you guys next week and Julia wins it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's that close. But let's head to 152. Now, 152, there is one wrestler that we cover, and I personally think if she keeps her head in the game and wrestles how she wants to, she's going to win it. And that's the top seed, Samira Koopa from Boot. North 1. She's a junior. If you got a chance to see the match, very emotional afterwards. Not to get crazy into her story, but her and her brother wrestled for Boonton. Their father passed away about 45 days ago. And they really they were going to quit wrestling. And the mother's like, I'll support you, because her dad was big wrestling. And both of them, her and her brother, had a talk. And they said they're going to do it for their dad. So she wins. She was crying after the semifinal when she made the finals, knowing she was going to States. She was bawling afterwards. I had her crying a little bit on the stream. I got a little emotional because I know the mom and everything, and I kind of got choked up just because of, that experience. So I would think it almost has to be the storybook ending for her to win the title. And she's the only person we cover in the area. That's what I'm rooting for. I know I'm not supposed to, but I think that's the ultimate tribute you can give to a fallen family member if they were that big into your, career. And I think she's going to wind up. I look at her wrestling Castro from Ridgewood. She beat her in the finals, so I think she's going to beat her again. A lot of rematches I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Koopa really does showcase a lot of good things for herself, and obviously for Booten too, and her brother's really tough too. Had a really nice season this year too. It would be really nice to see her. This is a tough one, but I think Koopa like to see that story, that storybook, finish come out as a reality, and that would be it would be really nice to see if Koopa wins.
Yeah, I think that'd be, good way, to do that. So it'll be interesting to see if she does it. And like I said, I think if she gets down there and does it, I think she's going to be really, really, really well represented. Now we're going to head to the next weight, which is 165. Couple people. Well, realistically, we only have one representative from our area, and that is Solaris Paul, who won North One from John F. Kennedy. Can't remember the last time Kennedy's had a qualifier. It's been a while, so she's going to go down there. I think she'll make these. I think she can make the semis. She's going to have a tough bout against Adiana Williams, who's undefeated from Pemberton, who's a senior. That's going to be a tough bout. If she gets by her, though, I think she's got a good shot of winning it. I'm just not sure she's going to. So I'm looking at it to be Williams from Pemberton, and I think she's going to wind up beating the woman she beat in South, Ari Tyson from Cherry Hill West. I still think Paul will get on the podium. I look for her to finish 3-4 there. So, but yeah, those are my two there.
That would be my pick as well.
Now, 185, we have Yvette Cologne from Morris Hills, who finished second at North One. We have Edenise Al Gomez, who finished third at North One from Hawthorne. Caitlin Hart, who is a two-time region champion and won it at North One from Vernon. Olivia Ra, who finished second at North, who's North 2 second from Warren Hills. And I think that's all we have. Yes. So I like here. I think I'm going to pick in the upper bracket. I'm going to pick Shaylee Young from Gateway Regional. I like her. She finished third in the South, but she's still the number 1 seed. So shows you how dominant she must have been. And honestly, looking at everything, I don't know if it's just because I got a chance to see her and talk to her and watch her wrestle. I think Caitlin Hart from Vernon's going to make it to the finals. As far as who wins it, I think it's going to be Young, but I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah, and seeing a lot of the Vernon girls really do well this season, and just based off what I've seen at the HWS there, a lot of really good girls there. But one particular girl that I think, who wrestled Olivia Rea from Warren Hills was Nalani Del Val from North Plainfield, who, obviously she ran through the whole bracket by pinning people left and right. She got a pin in the semis, then obviously she got her pin to win the North 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could be one of the favorites, and she could surprise some people and come out on top. Gonna go out on a whim outside of our coverage, but I think Del Val from North Plainfield could win it.
That's fine. Like I said, obviously we don't get some of these coverage areas we don't get with the girls. We're hoping that changes next year. Hint, hint. But yeah, some of these girls look really good. And then let's head to heavyweight 235. Kayla Mena from Par Hills, Parsippany, finished third at North One. Then you're going to have Caroline Beagle, who won North One from DePaul. And somebody, I'll tell you what, I was super impressed with at North One. Tracy Najaro from Manchester. Manchester's first state qualifier in nearly 20 years. And she gave Beagle, who's a defending state finalist, all she can handle. Beagle had to take her down with about 5 seconds left to get a 3-1 decision. I was very impressed by Tracy. So she's going to have a tough draw. She should win her first match, but Then she's going to get Shalitha Collins, the Central champion from Ewing, which is going to be tough. And then if she advances there, she most likely is getting Beagle. I'm going to tell you how I think this is going to go. I think Alcindor, from the number 1 seed from Union. I know you saw her. I think she's going to make the final, and I think we're going to have a North 1, North 2 final with Caroline Beagle. And I'll tell you what, I watched Caroline wrestle. I think this is Caroline's year. I think Caroline delivers the pole championship. She's very technical. She's got to get mental there. Sometimes, they can question themselves. But I think if she's in the right mindset, and realistically, she has a bye. So a lot of these girls only need 3 wins to be a state champion, which, you should be able to clear it. And with enough time, that should be enough to go. I'm going with Beagle here. I hope it doesn't blow up in my face, but I like Caroline.
I'm going to go with, this is a tough one because I think this is one of those weights that it could go either way. I think Beagle's a good one, but I'm actually going to go with Alcindor from Union. I thought she wrestled. Obviously, she had to. It took her till the 3rd period to win, but hey, you know what? That's the sport of wrestling. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to win, as long as you can get it. She looked pretty good. I thought she really wrestled the Bloomfield girl at North 2 really well. Was a back and forth battle a little bit, and then she came out on top and got the pin. It would not shock me if she came out on Saturday becoming a state champion.
Yeah. Now, listen, heavyweight in girls is the same as heavyweight in boys. You can pick, and we saw that at Region 1 coverage. Headlocks and throws, and all of a sudden favored to get knocked out from pins. Totally understand that. So I like I said, I think Beagle should win that, but we'll see. Like I said, that's why they wrestle the matches and do everything else. So all right, let's switch over to the boys. We'll start with 106, obviously. Why else would we start at anything else? As far as our coverage area, Brody Neal from Westmore Central, the 16th seed. He's got Grayson Pettit from Delsey, who finished 3rd at Region 8, who's a sophomore in the first round. Brody's got a tough draw because, say he beats Pettit, he's going to have to wrestle Hildebrandt from Williamstown, who's the number 1 seed. So that's going to be a tough draw for O'Neill, but we'll see how he does. And then Augie Zamretta, who finished 1st at Region 1. He's a sophomore. He's the 20 seed. He's going to get another brutal draw. He's going to get Michael Lamb from Haddonfield, which should be a competitive match. And then he's going to get most likely Michael DiBiase from Red Bank Catholic, who's 34-5. So that's a tough one. And then we got 2 guys who know each other from the counties and from our county. Cameron Sons, the 3 seed from Del Barton, finished 1st at Region 5. He's a freshman. Versus Frank Feigl from Jefferson Township, who finished 3rd at Region 1 and is also a freshman. I like Sons there. I think he'll keep it closer. Then, a couple other guys from the area. You look down, you got Logan Forgatch from Par Hills, who finished 3rd at Region 2. 35-5 sophomore this year. Or excuse me, freshman. They also got Jake Holly, a junior from Pope John, who finished 4th at Region 3 and is 29-7, the 7th seed. And then Reed Busby, who's the 23 seed from North Hunterdon. He was 4th at Region 4. And then a guy I really liked that I thought wrestled a great tournament, just ran into some tough guys. The 31 seed Connor Hallowich from North Warren finished 4th at Region 1. Sophomore, kind of just got his legs under him as he was going along, but good year. I'm going to go for my finals. I'm going to go with Hildebrandt, and I'll tell you what, I've learned my lesson in the years. I never pick against a young sophomore or freshman from Del Barton. I'm going to take Cameron Sons to make the final, and I think Sons takes it.
That's always, obviously, you can never count out Del Barton, especially with what they've had this year. Cameron Sons, we saw him wrestle earlier at the MCTs. Very impressive wrestler in his own right. My finals, this is interesting. So Hildebrandt from Williamstown will be one that I think is going to make the finals. And this is tough. I'm gonna go with the same thing too as far as Cameron Santz. I just can't count out a Del Barton wrestler. I think those two are going to be the finals, and I think Hildebrandt is going to find a way to, just because of his experience and what he's been able to do. I think he's going to edge out Santz, but I'm not going to be shocked if Santz comes out on top and wins it. But Hildebrandt is going to be my pick to win the state title at 106.
So we have the same final, just a different winner. Like I said, Sans is on another level. So let's head to 113. We have from our area, Aiden Yeruzzi from North Huntington finished third at Region 4. He's a 17 seed. Got a tough draw because if he wins, he's got Logan Roman from Old Bridge, who's undefeated, waiting for him there. So that's going to be tough. Peter Terranova from Del Barton, who finished second at Region 5. He doesn't. So this is interesting. I've said never count out a Del Barton wrestler. He's a 24 seed. Would it shock me if he beat Joseph D'Angelo from Point Pleasant Borough, who finished third at Region 6 and is ninth seed? No. Would it shock me if he beat the winner of the 8 and 25? No. So, like, I wouldn't be shocked if he's sitting there in the quarters. But, you know, that's just how they are. So, wouldn't be shocked there. And then this is going to be an interesting one because the next guy we have is the 21 seed, James McGinty from Part Hills. He finished fourth at Region 2. There's a chance that he might meet his cousin in the pre-quarters because his cousin goes to St. Joe Montvale and is Jonathan McGinty. And he's the 5 seed. So they could meet in the next round. That'll be interesting to see. And then you go down, you got Jake Taylor from Delaware Valley, Tyler Hagginson from Mount Olive, who finished first at Region 2. He's going to get Jack Lorper, a tough kid from Hawthorne. We saw him at the PCT and what he did, so that's going to be a tough one. Then you got Jack Bergman from Lakeland, the 11th seed. He's 34-3. And then Delvin Rote, who's a tough guy from DePaul Catholic, who's the 26th seed. And that's all for us there. So looking at this, I think in the top part of the bracket, I think Logan Ryan cruises to the final. Now, the bottom part of the bracket is where it gets interesting for me because I think it's going to be Tyler Hagginson, but I think he's going to have a battle on his hands. He's going to get a tough kid in Lorper. Then he'll most likely beat who's ever the winner of the Ferrer from Belleville versus Urso from Jackson Liberty. Then I think he's got Jack Bergman, who's a tough wrestler waiting for him in the next round. Then in the quarters, then in the semis, I think he's going to have Nathan Braun from Bergen Catholic, who's a sophomore. I think he finds a way to beat him and make it to the finals. I don't know if I like Logan Roman. I like Hagginson. I like Bergman. This is tough for me because I like Hagginson. People could call me a homer pick, whatever. Kid's a fighter. That kid brawls. So would it shock me if he beat Logan Roman? No. He's got a tough road. It's a battle-tested road. But call me a homer on Sunday if it doesn't happen. I'm going with Hagginson at 113.
So I'm looking through it as well. So I think Logan Roman from Old Bridge obviously is going to make it to the finals. I think that's kind of like a give me there, and I think he has a don't want to say ever want to say that it's an easier ride for anybody in states because as they always say, the seedings always get thrown out when it's states time. So I like the finals of Logan Roman and that battle, that semifinal battle, if it happens between Tyler Hagginson and Nathan Braun from Bergen Catholic. Hagginson, with experience, should find that way to squeak by there. The finals are tough, though, because Logan is on a mission to win a state title this year. And obviously, Hagginson in his senior year wants to find a way to win it. But
Yeah.
this is a really tough pick for me too. This is one of the deepest weight classes. Um,
Especially in that lower bracket. There's some battles you see. Like you look at it and you're like, you look at Logan Ryan and Roman. And listen, no disrespect to anybody in the top part of that bracket, but you look at some of those seeded guys down below, you're like, damn, like that's going to be it would. So I'm picking Haggison, but would it shock me if he lost to Bergman? No, Bergman's a great wrestler. You know, there's a lot of really good wrestlers in the lower part, but I didn't mean to interrupt your pick. Go ahead.
but I think I'm gonna go with it. Just this is tough. It really is because Haggerton is the local boy that's near me, and obviously you always want to do that. But I think Roman just finds that way. I think he's just been searching for that state title, though. I think he just gets Haggerton, but it's going to be like that ultimate tiebreaker where Haggis is going to wrestle for well over 6 minutes.
Yeah, I can see that too. Now let's head to 120. This one to me, even though we have some good representation, I think there's a heavy favorite in this 120. He's not in our coverage area, but number one seed Anthony Knox from St. John Vianney, won Region 7. He's 29-0, nationally ranked kid, done some damage in some big tournaments. I think this is his way to lose. Some of the guys in our coverage area to kind of keep an eye on. We got a big battle in the first round. Jason Kotowski from Butler, who finished third at Region 1, against Nick DeFrancisco Antonio from Hanover Park, who finished second at Region 3. I'm telling you, that's going to be a good battle. But then they're going to get Knox in the next round, so it's going to be tough. Sledding, and you're going to have to wrestle back. Owen Garrix from Phillipsburg, who finished second at Region 2. He's the 20th seed. He's got Chris Nucaforo from Bergen Catholic in the first. That's always a tough match. We're talking about Del Barton wrestlers. You can't count out Bergen Catholic. And then Anthony Piemonte from Mount Olive. He's got a tough kid in the first round, and he has a potential meeting in the next round with Anthony Rossi from Huntington Century, who's the 6th seed, who won Region 4, and we've been very impressed with all year with what he's done. And then 23 seed, Ray Fonte from West Morris Mendham. He was third at Region 3. He's got a tough first-round matchup. And then Charlie Piccioni from Warren Hills. He was Region 1 5th. The reason he qualified, and this is, taking nothing away what he did, Brian Little from Don Bosco Prep got injured and had to medically withdraw. So Charlie gets in here and has a chance. It's going to be tough because he's going to get most likely Kurt Wiener from Donovan Catholic in the second round. But there's something about, and it's funny, I'm going to use this expression with considering where we're going to be at, but using house money. Charlie has nothing to lose. Charlie can let it go and do what he needs to do. And that's a scary man. But in the end, I still think it's a Knox. I think it's a Knox. Definitely. Knox, definitely. I don't know. I'm not having it hard in there. I could see Mikey Bautista making this other side of the final. I could see Rossi making it, because he's a senior on a mission. And I could see Wiener, who's also there. But you know what? I'm going a little crazy with this one. And I'm going to look at it. I got Knox and Rossi. And I think Knox wins it.
I think you just read my mind every single time because that's exactly the way that I was drawn up on the bracket.
Oh, don't tell me that. Please don't. Please don't tell me.
I mean, like, just Rossi. I mean, just there's so much to like about Anthony Rossi. Just so much to really like about him. He's technically sound. He's physical. He gets at it. There's nothing more I can really say about him besides everything else that we've already said about him. But Knox is already, former state champion. He's won it before. I'm going with Knox as the pick, but Rossi's definitely going to make it in the finals for sure. And there will be some good wrestlers and good representation, like Nick DeFrancisco Antonio will be down there. That'll be a good matchup to see what he can do with Jason Kachowski. Garrix could surprise some people, could maybe win a state match there, but also another good wrestler too, that I wouldn't be too shocked there, but obviously he would meet in the semis with Knox and probably will lose it. Logan Brzezowski from Seton Hall Prep. That's
Yes.
also a solid wrestler too.
So let's not forget, and let's not take anything away from Brzezowski. Logan was second in the state, I think, last year. So let's not take anything away from him. Going down there and making some noise. I think he's going to be somebody to kind of keep an eye on. Looking at his his weight and what he's done, he's got a tough draw. He's got some guys he can beat, but the one thing I like about him is he's got grit. You know what I mean? So I know that's thrown around a lot, grit, but he's that type of guy. He grinds, and would I be shocked if he, made a run down there? No, I think he could definitely make a run and get to where he needs. I think it'll be a little tougher with where he's at because obviously in his on his part of the bracket, he's got to match up with Knox in the semis. That's tough. That's very tough. But would I be absolutely shocked if he gave Knox a battle? Nobody's unbeatable. All right. Nobody's out here walking on water. So I'm not discounting he doesn't have a chance, but I would not be shocked if he wound up walking out of there third, honestly.
Exactly. And this just kind of reminds me of that one year of 2018 where we saw Lucas Ravano from Camden Catholic won every single match from his quarterfinals up into his finals and then beat a former state champ of Nick Ramo, which no one ever saw him doing that. No one thought that would have been possible to do and then win it in the finals too. This could be like that Cinderella story where he could pull off that upset. But it will be.
Listen, I'm not taking anything away with him. That's very possible, and exactly, what would be going on and what, everything that needs to be done. So I would not be shocked if, that was the result. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be, I'm obviously leaning towards Knox, but Brzezowski's one of those wrestlers you don't count out. So, but yeah, I like Knox here. So I think that'll be who it is. Let's go to 126. Here at 126, got some interesting coverage. People, the 32 seed who finished fourth in North Huntington, Shane Wysocki. He's got a tough matchup against the top seed from Camden Catholic and Sammy Spalding. The winner of that will face the winner of Seach Hibbler, who was from Leonia, but Brandon Barris from Mount Olive. These two actually met last week with Seach beating Brandon in the third place match. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Then you head down to 25 seed. Michael Vandermeulen from Jefferson finished third at Region 1. He's got a tough draw there. Jaden Perez, the champion of Region 3, where you were at, from Delaware Valley. I heard he had an amazing match in the final. Great
match there. He wrestled the entire 6 minutes. He never gave up wrestling. That was, in my honest opinion, would have been one of my choices as outstanding wrestler. That was just an outstanding match he wrestled there against Dalton Weber.
That good? It was that good?
Yes, it really was. 10-9, you win in the most dramatic way possible. I was really impressed.
And then when you head to looking at some of the other people here, you're going to have, besides Perez, the 5 seed, has a decent run in him. He'll be good. Najati Salim from Clifton, who finished second at Region 2. He's a 19 seed. He's going to get a rematch most likely in the pre-quarters with Vincent Payno from St. Joe Montvale, who he lost to in the Region 2 finals. Dalton Weber from Pope John, who shockingly, I was surprised didn't win Region 3. Like you said, against Perez, they could be on a collision course with where they're, going. He's the 6th seed. He should most likely meet the winner of Salim Payno in the quarters. And then two guys who are on a collision course, and it'll be interesting to see the 15 seed Salzi Tassay from Wayne Hills, who finished second in Region 1, and Ryan DeGeorge from Del Barton, who's the 2 seed. They should meet each other in the pre-quarters. Looking at this breakdown, I'm going. So I like DeGeorge from the bottom seed, the number 2 seed. I think he makes the finals, and then Sammy Spalding's not bad. You know what? Give me the kid with the heart, Jaden Perez. I don't know why. It's just his match. I might be completely wrong. He could have lost to Luke Sherlock from Shawnee in the quarters, and I could look like a complete idiot, or he could look like sort of losing Sammy Spalding in the semis. I'll go with Perez. Perez versus DeGeorge, and I like DeGeorge.
George is my pick to win it all. I think he's just been phenomenal this year. But an upset is going to happen. I believe somewhere in the semifinals of that top bracket there. It's tough to really say if it's going to be either Perez or if it's going to be Weber, or there could be anybody that I feel like that could find that way to beat the top seed. It could even be this. It's tough. It really is. I'll say Louding Henry from St. Peter's in the finals somehow just finds a way to be able to get to the finals just for the heck of it. And then DeGeorge, and I'll take DeGeorge to win it. You just never really know with these wrestlers, and you can't really justify like these records of like what they really are, because this is AC, baby. Anything can happen.
And some of this, and listen, I'm not taking nothing away from the wrestlers in the South or anything. Some of those matchups that they wrestle, some of the teams are cupcakes. Like the Del Barton kids are wrestling, national stuff. So take nothing away, but I'm just kind of like, I always look at some of these records and I'm like, really? Are we sure that's the way it is? Like, are we positive? Taking nothing away from them. I really like I said, DeGeorge, you never know when it comes to, that type of situation, you never know how it's going to go. So let's head to the next week. 132. Now, for me, there's one wrestler that really jumps out, and he was in our coverage area, but now he's not. Adrian DeJesus from St. Joe Montvale, the number 1 seed. He's going to get Nico Gregory from Randolph, who finished 4th at Region 2. The senior, great year for him. He's got a tough draw right out the gate, but, he's going to have to wrestle back, obviously. And then some of the other ones, keep an eye out from our area. Nicholas Bolella, from Hackettstown, finished 2nd in Region 3. He's a 12 seed. He's got a tough road to hoe there. 13th seed Nick Clayton from High Point finished 1st at Region 1. He's going to most likely meet Patrick O'Keefe in the pre-quarters, so that'll be an interesting match there. I don't count on any High Point wrestlers, but you never can tell. Chase Quinault, 7 seed. Del Barton, he's going to have he should make the quarters. Looking at his bracket, he should make the quarters. He's going to get a tough matchup in the quarters, because look at what I got in the first round. You got Gavin Goleta from Phillipsburg, who we know how tough he is, versus Carson Walsh from Pope John. What? Like, that's going to be a match I'm going to watch.
Yeah, Goleta's just been Gavin Goleta, the younger brother of Luke. Just he wrestles tough. He wrestles against tough kids, really, really tough.
So then, looking here, I'm going to say Walsh makes it. He's been on a roll. Won his 100th recently. I think he makes the final. And I got to go. I think it's going to be DeJesus and Walsh. Trying to think. Walsh, DeJesus is the favorite. You know what? Let me go with. I'm gonna go with Walsh. I just call it a hunch. I'm gonna go with Walsh.
Walsh is my pick to make the final, but I feel that in that top bracket there, that there is going to be an upset with someone beating DeJesus. Just have that gut feeling that that could be
Okay.
a very well possibility. There are a couple of wrestlers that I feel like could come in mind. Xavier Ortega from Howell could be one of them. Giovanni Shahina from St. Peter's Prep, another one there, the 5th seed. But there's also another one too, Patrick O'Keefe from St. John Vianney. I think it's going to be O'Keefe.
He's quality.
I think he's going to find a way to beat DeJesus. Nothing against DeJesus at all. I think he has been tremendous from going from St. Peter's Prep to DePaul, going to St. Joe's Montvale. But O'Keefe, this is his junior year. Obviously, he still has one more year to win it, and so does DeJesus. But I think O'Keefe is just a very quality wrestler, but he's going to meet up against a very tough Carson Walsh, who's going to have a tough time getting there too. But Walsh will be my pick to win the state title, and wrestling against him will be O'Keefe from St. John Vianney.
And the one thing when you look at Walsh, and the one thing I'm going to say, and this isn't understated in any reasons, when you look and you realize that, wait a minute, this kid now has Jojo Aragona in his corner, who, if you look at their careers, they mirror each other very well. They're very, let's put it this way, they've had very similar paths. The one thing I'll say, being able to be in the ear of that guy and having, it be, okay, cool. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Right. And how do I get through this situation? How do I do that situation? That's huge. That's huge. So, that's one thing you want to keep an eye on and do that. But, yeah, I'm telling you, that's going to be huge for them and what they're doing there. 138, we have some good representation here. We have Jackson Bush from Del Val, 17th seed. He's going to get a tough draw, in the pre-quarters if he advances. Going to get Caden Rishardi from St. Peter's Prep. Good luck. Justin Holly from Pope John finished second in Region 3. He's a 12 seed. He'll probably he's got a decent chance to make the quarters there. Josh Lee, who was first at Region 1, he's the 4th seed. He's got a really good shot to make the quarters, if not the semis. So keep an eye on him. Noah Zindaki from Wayne Valley, who was 3rd at Region 2. He's got a tough draw against Dylan Ross in the first round. Logan Horenko, who was 4th at Region 1 from Sparta. He's the 19th seed. He's got a tough draw in the first round. I'm saying this like there's not tough draws, so I apologize if I'm sounding redundant here. It's the state finals. It's the state tournament. They're all tough draws. Ryan Langenmeyer, who finished 2nd at Region 1, but let me tell you something. Ryan's a kid who is very happy-go-lucky, cool, like calm, collected type stuff. Ryan is pissed. Ryan is pissed he lost. He felt he should have won. He didn't wrestle his match. Pissed off people who are that good are dangerous. He should meet Dylan Ross in the quarters, and then has a shot to make it to the semis. And then he's most likely going to meet the other guy, one of the other guys from our coverage area, Jaden James from Del Barton, the sophomore who's undefeated, finished 3rd in the state last year. Jaden's got Mario Fernini from Par Hills, who finished 4th at Region 2. Looking at this, I'm going to go Rishardi and James, and I'm going to take James to win it.
I was just gonna say Ricciardi from St. Peter's and James from Del Barton, but I'm going with James to win it all. Though I just think this is his
Oh, I
year,
agree.
time.
I
I
agree.
think
James is going to win it all.
I just think he's just his. I just think he's just at that next level of like many Del Barton wrestlers that I just think he's just that good.
Yes.
Far
I mean,
far
he's
far far, far above many people in his own right.
yeah. I think he's going to do really well. And like I said, another one of those Del Barton kids. So you know and James does a lot of freestyle. He had a great season last year. There's no reason to see he doesn't build on it heading into this year, this postseason. Head to 144. As far as for our coverage area, you got Ben Marchetto, the eighth seed. He medaled and finished eighth 2 years ago. He is 32-1. He only lost in the PCT in the semifinals, and he's been on a roll since. Won Region 1 in impressive fashion. He should meet Alex Ninny from Christian Brothers in the quarters. It's going to be one I want to watch. I think he's got a real good shot of beating him, but we'll see when they get on the mat. We also have Jack Myers from Morristown, Region 3, won first place. For obviously Morristown, he should get most likely William Sella from Huntington Central in the pre-quarters. I really like Myers. I think he's a good wrestler. And then when you go down a little further, you got excuse me, Luke Galetta from Phillipsburg, 7th seed. He finished second at Region 2. Trevor Jones from Del Barton finished third at Region 5. And then the 31st seed, Joey Catalano from Newton, who finished fourth at Region 1. He's going to get a tough draw against Sonny Amato from Rumson Fairhaven. Looking at this, when I kind of look at how I think it's going to go, I want to pick Marchetto on the top, but I think Ninny squeaks by. So I think Ninny squeaks by into the semis. I think he makes the finals, and I think he's going to wrestle Jack Myers in the finals.
I'm taking Jack Myers. I mean, I've loved everything that he's done this season. I think it's going to be Jack Myers, and I think also too Wyatt Stout from Southern. A really impressive wrestler for the Southern Rams.
Yeah,
that's my finals right there. But obviously, Nini from Christian Brothers Academy, no disrespect to him at all. The phenomenal wrestler. But Stout and Myers, that would be a finals to watch. And Myers
100%.
would be my pick.
100%. Now, let's head to 150. Our coverage area, you got the 24 seed, James Conklin from PCTI, finished fourth at Region 2. You have Gavin Hawk, who finished second at Region 2 and the 5th seed. Tanner Perez, who finished third at Region 2, the 21 seed, is going to wrestle the 12th seed, Rhett Wazalewski, who finished first at Region 4, Washaleski, excuse me, the sophomore. So that'll be a nice little battle there. Then you have Reese Smith, who finished fourth at Region 1 from Kittatinny. He's going to actually wrestle a wrestler. He wrestled at Region 1. I know there's a lot of wrestles in there. He's going to wrestle Jeremy Quesada from Dumont, who finished second at Region 1. And then Ben Levy from Del Barton. Delaware Valley, read that wrong. Third at Region 3. He's a 23 seed. And then Gabe Logan from Del Barton, who is the 2nd seed. Now, looking at 150 for me, I'm going to go with Jonathan Fuller versus Gabe Logan, and I'm going to give it to Logan.
I mean, there's just I think we've talked so much about Gabe Logan this year, especially with what his father is. His father is a phenomenon.
And full disclosure, is a sponsor of us, so it's no, we're not picking him because of that. His kid's a good wrestler. So before I get any angry emails, his kid's a good wrestler. If you don't believe me, go watch him.
But I think he's going to make the finals, and I think he's going to meet up with. I think he's going to meet up with Fuller, but I think Logan comes out on top.
I agree. Now let's hit the 157. Couple of guys we got. Nicholas Laciatello, who finished fourth at Region 1 from Ponte Lakes, has the number 1 seed, Matthew Henrik from Southern, right out the gate. That's going to be a tough match there. Number 9 seed, James DeCunto from North Warren, Region 1 champion, 36-1, 9th seed. I don't want to go off on the seeding, but I think that's a little low for him and what he's done. But yeah, he's that seed. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. The 12th seed, Logan Wykorik from Voorhees, who was first at Region 4. He's going to wrestle another guy we have in the coverage area, Sean Walker from Lakeland, who was second at Region 1. And then Mitchell Sutter from Del Val. He was third at Region 3. He's the 30th seed. He's going to get Ryan Ford from Bergen Catholic. Omar Tarecki from PCTI is the 14th seed. Carl Betts is from Del Barton. Was won Region 5. He's the first seed. He's going to face Roger Barrozueta, who was third at Region 2 from Morris Hills. And then for the rest of our coverage area, Joseph Lucarella, who finished third at Region 1, he gets Cade Jones of Camden Catholic in the first round. So, looking at what we have. I really want to go crazy here. I really want to say I think DeCunto makes the semis. But I think Heinrich's going to finish. I think Heinrich's going to take the top part of the bracket. And I think Ryan Ford's going to take the bottom. I think you're going to have Ford and Heinrich, whatever you say his name. And I like Heinrich, but I think DeCunto medals.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's just no reason why DeCunto can't medal. There's just no reason why he can't medal. This kid's been on fire this year. Unfortunately, the seedings are the way that they are. So obviously, when you have to go up against a former state champion like Matt Hendridge, that's never going to be easy.
It's never the fun. It's like, hey, you won your region, but we're going to put you here. It's like, okay,
yeah. I mean, it's just very unfortunate. It really is, and it would be very interesting to see how that matchup will go up. Wouldn't shock me if he did beat him. I really don't think it would shock me.
He's on another level this year. I'm not going to put it past him. It's not like, oh yeah, okay. He's been solid.
Yeah, he really.
I'm going to watch that match.
That would be a match to definitely watch for over the weekend going in for sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely would even pay to watch it. That's the kind of matchup that you want to see. 100%. Someone who's been disrespected, but who has been disrespected by many people around him. Not us, but many other people.
Oh, I called it from the beginning. Mm-hmm. This kid is throwing it out there.
Once we saw him at HWS, that was
that was the stepping stone. He's been like on a roll. And I even told him at the regions, I said, I get a lot of kids over the years who tell me like they're going to do something, and I kind of wait for that bubble to burst, like they hit their wall and that's it. I told him, I said, dude, I knew from like when we talked, I says, after what I saw you do at HWS, I said, there's no wall for this guy. I said, I'm not going to be shocked at what he does. So he's got confidence right now. And what does he have to lose? He's going to go out there and wrestle. So, I mean, I would not be shocked. But who do you got?
I'm going with Henrich, and I'm going with Ford, and Henrich is my pick.
I agree. Or did I pick something else and now I'm changing my mind?
No, you said
Yeah,
Henrich.
I
Pretty
thought
sure.
so too. I was making sure. Keeping you on the ball, James. It's a little late.
Yeah,
I
of
want to make sure you're on the ball.
course.
Head to 165. Um, the favorite has to be in our coverage area. Alessio Parrington from Del Barton won the state title last year, flexed and yelled boom when he won it. So, I see no reason why he's not making a run to the finals here. On the top part of the bracket, you got Nando Ott from Hanover Park. He makes states last year after just missing it at regions. He's going to get Lorenzo Camano, who you saw down at Region 3. Michael Fami, you also saw at Region 3 from Whippany Park. He's in the top part of the bracket. Chad McConnell, who finished third as a freshman at Region 1. He's the 21 seed. Ryan Flammer from Jefferson, who's a senior. He finished fourth at Region 1. He's the 20 seed. Brian Wilson, not the Beach Boy, but from North Hunterdon, finished fourth at Region 4. He's the 30th seed. Joseph Galetta from Clifton, who finished second at Region 2. He's the 19th seed. And then William Capizzi from Passaic Valley, who finished fourth at Region 2. He's the 26th seed. Got a tough kid in Benjamin Garcia wrestle. Ethan Dawling, who was from Kittatinny, who was first at Region 2, has got the 10th seed, which I don't know. I find that a little strange, but okay. So it'll be interesting to see. He looks like he has he's on a path to get a rematch in the pre-quarters with Benjamin Garcia, the guy who beat him up at Region 1. And then Gavin Gomes, who was very impressive in his district and was placed third for Morris Knowles at Region 2. He's the 15th seed. Looking at this, I got to go somewhat chalk here. I'm going to take Jordan Chapman from Cranford, who's the second seed, and I think Alessio Parenti beats him from Del Barton in the finals.
That's my pick exactly the way that, because Jordan Chapman's been awesome this year for Cranford, and not just saying that because I have family that go to Cranford, but he is really good. But I think Alessio Parenti, both the guys know each other. They know each other very well for sure. But I'm going with Parenti to win it.
Now we'll head to the 175, and this is a weight I'm actually looking really forward to. And we were talking about it before about guys who were in certain matches, and we saw, and I was very impressed with. I got a chance to see who I think's going to win it wrestle in a match this year, and I was very impressed with the performance by some of these guys. But I'll give you who it is first. So in our coverage area, we have, when you look at 175, if my computer wants to work, you have Nico Gonzalez, who finished fourth at Region 2, who's the 12th seed. You have Bryce Coesfeld, who finished third at Region 1, who's the 20 seed. Jack McCaffrey, who finished third at Region 4 from Madison, fourth at Region 3 from Madison, if I can read. Thomas Brunetti from Hunterdon Central won Region 4. And then you have Evan Kinney from North Hunterdon, who finished fourth at Region 4 and is the 27th seed. Liam Packer, who finished third at Region 2 and is the 6th seed. Delaware Valley, Kevin Rowland, who finished third at Region 3 and is the 23rd seed. And the defending champion, Lou Sergio from Del Barton, won Region 5 and is a senior, 32-4. Now, the two guys I was talking about were Burton and Sergio. Burton I call the Pork Chop Express. Sergio, I think, is pissed that he got pinned in that matchup. Even though the Del Barton won, I think he was mad. Looking at this, I think Burton and Sergio make the finals. I think this is Burton's year. I like Sergio. Would it shock me if he won? No. But Burton has just been winning championships everywhere in the offseason. And I think he's finally putting it together. And if he does, I want everybody to go back 2 years and look at my DePaul preview, because I remember telling people that kid's going to be a state champion. I told his parents at my All-Star match that year, he's going to win a state title. And so Nostradamus, if that happens. But that's my pick.
Burton and Sergio to make the finals.
And I picked Burton to win it.
But I'm taking Burton to win. Yes.
Same as me?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Now, let's head to 190. 190. We have a really good matchup here. Some tough guys here. So I'll give you some coverage area, guys. Elbrus Majaga from Del Barton, who finished third at Region 5, 17th seed. Frankie Martino. Keeping an eye on the name, 9th seed from Passaic Valley, second at Region 2. Then you're going to go down. You got Vincenzo Laval from Hanover Park. He's placed third the last 2 years. So, I mean, he's got quality there. Anderson Olcott, 14th seed from Delaware Valley, third at Region 3. You have Kyle Blue from Belvedere, who is fourth at Region 3. And then the number 2 seed, Tyler Venus from Mount Olive, first at Region 2, 37-3. Now, I'm going Ludington up top. I think he wins the top part of the bracket. I don't think that's up for anything. Now, my semifinal on the bottom part, I think we get a Morris County tournament rematch. I think it's Venus versus Laval. Also, but don't count out a Caleb Jackson. But like I said, I think that's going to be that. And then Laval probably get Anderson Olcott in the pre-quarters, but like I said, I think it's Laval and Venus in that semifinal.
Wow, that's the this has to be the most in-depth bracket that we've seen.
I'm gonna go with that semifinal. I want to say the way Venus controlled him up top opened a lot of eyes. I think it's Ludington and Venus. And then let me tell you something. I think Ludington wins, but I don't think it's going to be what people think. I think it's going to be really, really close. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's an overtime match, but I think Ludington takes it.
I agree. I think Ludington, this is the year that he wins it. I think he wins it. But as far as who's going to meet in the finals, obviously it's going to be between Venus and Laval. But I think there could be a chance where Laval could avenge that loss and, kind of think a little bit differently and more methodically. So I'm going with Ludington and Laval and Ludington to win it.
So you think Venus will finish third?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you think he won't make the finals? What do you mean?
Yeah, I just think that Laval, understanding that he lost that MCT final match, is going to kind of get him more motivated to get himself ready. But Venus, don't count him out though either, because I think he has a very good shot of making the finals. But I think Laval could definitely be able to do that.
Hey, listen, like I said, that's a very, I think that's very possible. I don't think that's a horrible choice. I don't think that's oh my God, what do you think? Like, that's not insane. That's going to be a beast of a semifinal, which, by the way, I will be on the call for a set of boys semifinals for NJ.com. So please tune in and listen. I'm hoping I get that match, because that'll be ridiculous if we get that match. So yeah, I think that'll be who we have there. Now let's head to 215. We look at 215 here. Obviously, the number 1 seed is Vincent Lee. He knocked off a state champion in regions. So he gets the number 1 seed, 25-1. Nathan Smith from Phillipsburg, who finished third at Region 2. He's a 24 seed. Brandon Veneziano from Passaic Valley, who finished fourth at Region 2. He's a 25th seed. He's going to get a tough Dante DeLuca from Don Bosco Prep in the who's the 8th seed. And then Tommy Borgia, who won Region 3, but is somehow the 13th seed. Can somebody explain that to me? Like, can I sit in on this meeting and you explain to me how a kid who, came down last year, battled a kid who finished as a medalist and almost beat him, and he wins his region, but they're like, hey, here you go. Here's a 13th seed. You know what we're going to do? We're going to let you wrestle the 20th seed, but then you get the 4th seed who finished second at another region. So, and then you get him, and then guess what? A kid who finished 3rd at that other region is going to get him in the next round. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm going to go on a rant with some of this seeding, but like, come on. But anyway, I don't want to get in trouble. And here's another one. William Knapp, who won Region 2, 34-4. Hey, you know what? We're going to put you against a 3rd place guy from another region, and we're going to make you the 22nd seed. So you win your region. Now you're going to get a chance to go against a guy from Region 4 who finished 4th possibly in the 6th seed. And then when you're done there, hey, you know what you do? Why don't you come up here and wrestle the 3 seed who is from Paramus Catholic who finished 4th? So have fun fighting everybody in Region 4. Makes no sense to me. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go on a rant. I'm going to have to let you take over a second, James. But then you get Tyler coming from Mount Olive, the 23 seed, second, Region 2 second. And honestly, my pick here, I think we're going to get another rematch. I think you get Hunter Scove of Rumson versus Vincent Lee of Del Barton. I'm going Lee. He beat him already. I don't think there's any reason to think he won't beat him again.
I'm going with the same finals, Lee and Scove from Rumson Fairhaven. Doesn't shock me. I know we talk about Del Barton so much all the time, but I'm going with Lee. I am, but would it shock me that Scove wins this one? Absolutely not. Was a former state champion from a year ago, like you said. Very well possible that he could definitely win this. Very well possibly could.
We're taking nothing away from him, nothing at all. The seeding in that. Oh my God! Wait, I'm hoping somebody comes to their senses and fixes that.
Especially Borgia being the 13th seed. I don't understand that.
And then come on, like, you know what? Like, listen, I understand, and people complain about different stuff. Give the kids who win a region something. Like, that's insane. How are they not in the top? Like, enough with this garbage. Anyway, let's head to heavyweight. So in our coverage area, the 12th seed, Mason Brancato from Pompton Lakes, finished 1st at Region 1. He's a 12th seed, so I mean that's a great idea there. Unbelievable. Timothy Connolly, who finished 3rd at Region 1, he's a 13th seed. John Wargo, who finished 2nd at Region 2, he's the 4th seed. Then from DePaul, you have Josh Turner, who finished 4th at Region 1. You have Connor Martin, the 6th seed, who won Region 5. You have Luke Abilio, who finished 4th at Region 2 from Mount Phillips, the 26th seed. And that's all for our coverage area. Now, looking at this, I always hate to pick the favorites at heavyweight because it never friggin' happens.
No, like, never, ever.
Never. Like, there's always something. I'll tell you some upsets I'm going to pick. Not all upsets. They're not really upsets, but I think Mason Brancato makes the quarters. He's going to get Daniel Elish from Region 2 from Paramus, who's the 5th seed. I think Mason makes it there. He's going to get John Wargo in the quarters. I like Wargo there. I think Wargo is going to wrestle Rocco Delegata from St. Joe Mafel. Rocco beat him in the region finals. I'm going to go with Wargo. Close. And then I think Wargo is going to face the winner of Shu from Bergen Catholic and Toronzo from Nutley. I think Toronzo finishes the story undefeated season. I like Toronzo in heavyweight.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love Wargo and I love Toronzo, but the way that I saw Toronzo win that match in that Region 3 final with Shu from Bergen Catholic and just watching the Nutley fans go absolutely crazy and celebrating the win with Toronzo is a storybook right there. If he can finish off his career undefeated, I like Toronzo too. I think it's going to be Wargo and Toronzo, but Toronzo wins it. Both really nice guys in their own right. A lot of respect for both of them, but I think Toronzo finishes out on top at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I really like Toronzo. Like I said, I think he's going to do. He's we've seen him. We saw him at the Essex County tournament. I really like what he does as a wrestler, and anytime you have that undefeated streak, I think you're going really well with that. And yeah, I think that's the one we want to go with. I think he's going to be the guy we want to talk with, and get that story from, because he is such a great guy to talk to, and have the team rooting for him like he does. But
yeah, and he gave me a nice little recognition and actually was able to talk with me a little bit and stuff.
What did he say? What did he say? Because I got a restraining order recently.
No, he was a very nice kid. He thanked me for interviewing him back at the Essex County tournament and just keeping up with how everything's going. Was able to wish him best of luck. Really nice, really nice young man.
I like that too, because we listen. I want everybody to notice that this is kind of me talking about everything. I thoroughly enjoy when people come up to me and say, "Oh, we really like we kind of are in our own little world when it comes to stuff like this." So for there to be somebody who could be like, "Listen, we really appreciate. Thank you so much." That's the biggest compliment we can get. Like, thank you for covering. We really love what you did, and we love it. So, thank you guys for everybody. But listen, I'm going to be busy this weekend. Follow me on our social medias, on Facebook at GardenStateHSWrestling.com, on Twitter or X at GardenStateHSW, on Instagram, GardenStateHS Wrestling, and like and subscribe on YouTube. We're going to have a nightly podcast. I've already chained Jared down to his chair in his room. He ain't going anywhere. We're doing a nightly podcast. No more waiting. We're going to be doing a wrap-up of everything going on. I gave him a little bowl. He's got to cancel all his autograph signings. It's all good. I made sure it happens. So we will have a nightly podcast that will be up, so you can either see it later that night, depending on what time we get out of there, or first thing in the morning. There'll be a recap of each day. And then Friday night, I'm going to be doing the semifinals of the boys. So check that out. And we'll be, broadcasting that. I'll be on NJ.com, of course. So tune in there. They're going to be broadcasting everything for free. And Sunday, excuse me, I kept thinking I was in the old days. Saturday, I'm going to be interviewing every medalist for an interview on camera, boys and girls. And then I'm going to be interviewing champions and most second place. I never like to bother the kids right after if they lose, but we will be the place you want to go for all your information. We're going to have those interviews with all those area champions. We're going to have everything else. And the bids have been going out for the All-Star match. We already have some great stuff. And let me tell you this, we're going to be doing some big things. We'll have an announcement about that with the All-Star match coming up soon. But listen, James, it's getting a little late. I got to hit the sack because I got a long drive tomorrow. I got to get everything rolling with everything to do. But thank you for joining me. For James Clarke, Jared the podcasting legend, who just blinked twice. He let me know he's still alive. I'm Donald J. Brower. It's state time, baby. This is what we waited for. Let's go.